Will sitting in a tub of ice make you feel Smurftastic? Is it just that one beaver that has an issue with Canada's flag, or is it all beavers? And being the official underwear of the Olympics is much different than the Underwear Olympics. Let's take a look on the bright side. Hello, my friends, and welcome to the bright side. I'm your host, Bob Herzog. So this is new, some make goods from last week's episode. Remember the couple on the beach, the engagement pictures? Turns out there was another photographer there who had been hired to be there and also got some amazing shots. Favorite, spelled with the O-U, is quite correct and very British. And my finishing dance last week, it was just sort of a sad, hoppy thing. I don't know what that was. Anyway, just wanted to get all of that off of my chest. And if that didn't make me feel better, this should help. We haven't done shout-outs in a while, and I'm just so grateful for the people who follow the Bright Side with Bob Herzog Facebook page and subscribe on the YouTubes, and even more amazed by those who share our videos, which you can literally do right now. Just click, clickety-click, click. Thank you. And then there are the people who write reviews, like Amy. Amy says, "You always bring a smile to my face, and there is nothing like closing out a stressful week with a brand new episode of The Bright Side. Happy, sweet, heartfelt every time." Amy, thank you. And then there's my buddy Brian, who checked in with, among other things, just simply this: "I love these positive stories." Brian, you are a good dude. Thanks for taking some time to write a review. Isn't that nice? Getting that good energy flowing, really sort of connecting with my spirit. Of course, people can get all nice and centered in lots of different ways, like these folks. Tourists are apparently traveling deep into the desert in the United Arab Emirates to take a bath in ice water. This unusual excursion is apparently based on a Tibetan Buddhist practice. Weathering such extreme discomfort is an attempt to boost the body's immunity and connect with an inner strength. People who actually take the plunge say the sensation is something truly unique.
The beginning is always hard to adjust, and then once you release and you realize that your mind is more powerful than your body, and your mind controls your body, and you have to make your body obey your mind. And that's the secret.
Beginning is a bit scary. You want to get out. You can't control your breathing, but now I'm okay. Totally fine.
Fine. These icy bathtub outings will cost you around $100 US. My buddy Jimmy once jumped back and forth between a really hot tub and a really cold swimming pool 17 times in Myrtle Beach. It did not lead him to enlightenment. I thought we were going to have to take him to the hospital. Anyway, if spiritual baths in an extra large Tupperware container aren't your thing, can I interest you in some cheese in arguably its most perfect form? String cheese. In fact, it is the world's longest piece of string cheese. A Wisconsin dairy is further securing its place in the record books after breaking its own record. Wyowiga Star Dairy and the nearby town came together for this record-breaking event. Residents helped hold the string cheese as dairy workers stretched it nearly a mile up and down the streets of the town. The dairy first set the record back in 1995, and residents say they were happy to help again.
So when we first started dating, came up here, we held the cheese then, got in the Guinness Book of World Records, and now we're doing it again.
I've never seen this before, and I wanted my piece of string cheese.
This is helping take all that flab away from underneath my arms here.
It is, sir. With it all said and done, the string cheese stretched just under 3/4 of a mile. The dairy says it's the equivalent of about 30,000 individual string cheese sticks. And let's just go ahead and keep it in Wisconsin, a place I expect to find people very tolerant of dairy, but not necessarily a place I expect to be quite so Smurfy. Gerda Scheuers has more than 11,000 individual pieces in her Smurf collection. She's been collecting them since she was maybe 6 or 7. Says it all started when her brother broke one of her Smurfs. I assume Handy Smurf was somehow able to repair that Smurf, as Handy is the most Smurftastic of all Smurf, being the MacGyver of Smurfs, if you will. As for the total value of the collection, Gerda thinks she could get maybe $10,000 out of it, but she plans on leaving it to her kids. Now let's turn from seeing blue to seeing red. In this case, though, seeing red is a good thing, a really good thing. A 12-year-old boy is now seeing the world in color, and it has something to do with some special shades. A surprise captured on video at a recent Cincinnati Reds game has gotten a lot of attention, and my friend Alexa Helwig has more.
This is the story. It's all right here in the Reds.
Colton Hurst looks up and down and side to side.
Red. Everything was red.
And it's this moment inside Great American Ballpark. Colton saw the world differently. The 12-year-old from Nicholasville, Kentucky was born colorblind.
I was trying to figure out, like, how this was possible. Like, I didn't know that they would work.
Colton's played baseball since he was 5 years old. He's in town for a tournament.
We traveled 3 hours, and we're going to win a championship tomorrow.
To draw up some motivation for their weekend games, Colton and his teammates watched the Reds play Friday night. But their focus changed when Colton's parents handed him an early birthday present at the game.
They said, "Can you try on these glasses for me real quick?" And then I put them on, and they were colorblind glasses.
He's seeing a whole lot of color. Colton's parents captured it all on video to remember the priceless moment.
I'm ugly crying, she's ugly crying, everybody else around us who didn't even know us was ugly crying, so.
He says there wasn't a better place for his son to finally see the color red than a Reds game.
I'm just thinking, wow, he could finally see what we see. And stuff like that we take for granted, because we see it every day.
A day after the game, Colton can't take off the glasses. He's thankful he had his entire team around him for the special moment. It's a well-deserved one for a special kid.
I remember seeing red for the first time. That's just the first thing that shocked me whenever I put them on.
Alexa Helwig, Local 12 News.
Gotta have a good ugly cry every once in a while. Colton's new glasses, by the way, are called Enchroma, and the company developed the lens technology in the early 2000s. Now, speaking of technology, did you see this? A high-flying stunt in the Big Apple, a mysterious hoverboarder right in the middle of Times Square. Spider-Man nowhere to be found. Look at that. The clip, viewed by millions at this point, caught the attention of police. Officials are investigating the incident since it is illegal to fly drones over the city. The man behind the stunt says he received permission before taking off. NYPD says they are looking into that. I just want to know the whereabouts of Willem Dafoe and his Green Goblin mask. Now, I don't know if this will give any of America's athletes an edge in competition. Advances in underpants technology elude me, but I do know there is an official underwear of the U.S. Olympic team. Kim Kardashian's company, Skims, will provide said undergarments. Team USA will be wearing loungewear, pajamas, and undergarments supplied by the company. According to a release, a limited edition collection of the label will be available next month to the public. I may never stand on a podium representing my country with a medal around my neck, but I can stand on a podium in the same underpants. The location of that podium shall remain secret. By the way, be really careful if you Google underwear Olympics, because you're going to find some stuff. Anyway, now from Team USA to a beaver who is, I guess, Team Canada. A wildlife enthusiast tried to take a simple flag photo in honor of Canada Day when a busy little beaver showed up and just took off with the flag. Mike Digout of Saskatoon captured that moment and described it as, quote, pretty damn Canadian. Now, I don't know the kind of dam we're talking about in this case, but let's just assume it's the holding back water kind so I don't get myself in trouble. Speaking of furry critters and water, take a look at these beach bums and look how close the people are to this. I can't believe it. A California woman took this cell phone video of a mama bear and her cubs cooling off at a popular beach. Jen Watkins says no one at the beach seemed too concerned, though mama bear took a note from Yogi Bear, by the way, and stole one family's cooler full of food. But Watkins wanted to remind people these are wild animals. And look at they're just animals all over the place. Anyway, you should respect their territory.
I just happened to be there and had a phone and took the video. I would never have gone any closer than what I got. Other people were a little bit more willing, let's put it that way.
We absolutely get concerned. We absolutely get concerned because the more bears become accustomed to people, the more likelihood there is of some kind of potentially dangerous conflict.
Now, this wasn't the only wildlife sighting that day. Again, you can see various waterfowl out there. But then after the bears left, beachgoers spotted a bald eagle in a nearby tree. Okay, going to warn you before we get this one started. You've probably heard about this story already, just in case you haven't. And even if you have, go ahead and get a box of tissues ready now. So a couple's now remarried, but not because they ever separated. A man with Alzheimer's forgot he was married and fell in love with his wife all over again. Here are pictures from Peter and Lisa Marshall's latest wedding. 56-year-old Peter proposed to Lisa in December while they were just kind of cuddling on the couch. He didn't realize they had already gotten married 12 years ago. Peter's memory has been fading for the past 3 years. He often forgets Lisa is his wife, but one thing remains consistent, that he loves her. So when he proposed, Lisa agreed, saying she didn't want to miss an opportunity to create another beautiful memory with her husband. Lisa says she's the luckiest girl in the world to have Peter fall in love with her twice. And I'm really not even going to try to say more about that one because I won't be able to keep it together, so let's just move along. The New York Yankees welcomed a new face to their dugout. Meet 70-year-old Gwen Goldman. She served as the team's Batgirl in a game earlier this week against the Los Angeles Angels. Now, in 1961, 10-year-old Gwen wrote a letter to the Yankees explaining why she should be a Batgirl. But she was turned down because the organization said she would feel uncomfortable in the male-dominated dugout. Now, 60 years later, they're giving her the chance.
From walking in the front door of the stadium at Gate 2 to coming up to a locker with my name on it that said Gwen Goldman and suiting up, and then walking out onto the field. It took my breath away. It's obviously taking my words away also. It was a thrill of a lifetime.
As the honorary Batgirl, Gwen even delivered a lineup card and, as you can see, threw out the first pitch. And staying on the theme of better late than never, a 101-year-old World War II veteran finally receives his Purple Heart more than 75 years after he was a part of history. Johnny Jones took part in the D-Day landings at Normandy. Bess Casserly shows us what took so long for the honor.
77 years after he was wounded in the Normandy invasion on D-Day, Baton Rouge native Johnny Jones was finally honored.
We should all pay tribute to Johnny Jones. He has stormed the beach at Normandy to free the world of Nazi oppression. He worked in the United States to make the words of the Declaration of Independence and our Constitution live for all Americans. We are, whoever you are, a better person, society, state, nation, world because of Johnny Jones.
The 101-year-old got his Purple Heart pinned on him by Senator Bill Cassidy in the presence of many influential lawmakers.
I just wanted to say to you today that I stand on your shoulders and I thank you for all of your hard work.
Jones was wounded by shrapnel from German airplanes and was on a ship when it hit a mine on Omaha Beach. But the fight continued when he returned back to the United States as African Americans face extensive discrimination. Jones went on to get his law degree at Southern and took on numerous civil rights cases, as well as representing the organizers of the Baton Rouge bus boycotts.
I know that I'm where I'm at home getting these praises, and I will continue to do. And I was continue to do everything that I can to inspire others to follow my footsteps.
As we head into this 4th of July weekend, thank goodness for people like Johnny Jones. Mr. Jones also has 2 Bronze Stars and a Bronze Arrowhead as well. We've got time for one more. one more to inspire. You know, little things can make a big difference. They know that all too well at a restaurant over in my neck of the woods. As Brightside Brad Underwood explains, a Friday night dinner turned out to be the meal of a lifetime.
Crimer's Beer House is Marjorie Pitzer's favorite restaurant.
And their food is fabulous, and it's always fabulous. Always, every time we're here.
Pitzer and her husband Chuck, their friends and family, have become regulars over the years.
I love the atmosphere. I love the people that work here.
Last week, a friend of the Pitzers tried to make reservations on Friday night, but the place was booked. But that friend didn't give up, explaining to a manager just how important the meal was in that moment.
We made arrangements to get her at a table in a booth at 8 o'clock, and that's where this whole situation started.
You see, this wasn't just any regular Friday night dinner. Pitzer was diagnosed with AML leukemia 6 months ago. This is Pitzer with her granddaughter not long before the diagnosis. The cancer is so aggressive, treatment is no longer an option.
I was supposed to die today. Today was one of the days my doctor said, oh yeah, you got this going on, well now you got exactly 2 weeks to live. That was 2 weeks ago today.
Facing a ticking clock of uncertainty, Pitzer's not sitting at home. She's doing whatever she wants, and that means dinner at Crimer's. The special evening was full of food, laughs, and tears, an emotional meal capped off with new friendships.
Brought me to tears. It was one of the most humbling and inspiring stories I've heard personally and for sure inside this restaurant.
The English language doesn't provide a word to explain what happened here last Friday night.
They took pictures together, and soon they'll hang above the booth that the restaurant says will forever be named the Marge booth.
To just even meet her and be a part of her life for a short amount of time, it's what's remarkable.
In Cleves, Brad Underwood, Local 12 News.
Now, Pitzer says she's going to spend the rest of her time doing what she wants and enjoying every minute of life. A lot of lessons in that story, a lot of lessons in many of the stories you got to see today. So make sure and share this video around, because maybe someone you know needs to take a look on the bright side.